Hello, I'm Elgato, and welcome back to the episode of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the Let's Play where I've been playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the Xbox, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And today, I'm actually going to be working on a brand new build, just a little bit of one that I really wanted to build because of a little bit of playing around and creative I've been doing recently that kind of inspired me to make a warehouse-like thing in survival, because I have that TU64 warehouse, or TU65 warehouse in my creative world. I'm like, actually, I really enjoy building that, and I think that one of these would be really useful for survival testing in my Let's Play world. So yeah, I'm building kind of an area that's going to be useful for testing. I'm going to be using some granite, some polished granite, some polished andesite, and some stone brick to do so. And we're going to make a little bit of a pattern in a very square-ish, form. That's going to be exactly 5 blocks every time it repeats. So we can do easily measuring of little tests if we want to. So for instance, if we want to do some IPO testing, we can use it as a measuring stick. We can do anything regarding that, but we could also use it as like just a fun little part of the industrial world, because I've noticed this build here really, again, I don't know if it's complete or not, but it kind of has a very distinct feel to the rest of the world. It's much more industrial feeling, like I said, and I feel like because of that, why not kind of group the world into bits like that and put this over there to kind of match that theme. So yeah, today we're going to be working on a brand new build, and in case you're curious about what exactly that will entail, it's basically going to just be a repeatable pattern on the floor, the walls, and the ceiling, and then we'll put something inside it that again should help with testing. So let me just place the very first block. This is a momentous moment, but let's place it right now, and as you can see, that is the start of a warehouse. This one block is now making the whole thing happen. But no, more seriously, basically, as you can, oh jeez, I've got to be really, really careful that I don't fall off the ice before it's gone, and I've done exactly what I just said I'd be careful of. So yeah, basically placing on ice is going to be tricky, but it should make the build a little bit fun. Or let's just place it in the water. Let's do stuff the old-fashioned way, because I want to show you how the layout's going to go, because it should be fairly easy, somewhat easy to like kind of repeat this pattern, because I want to just have like some granite in the middle as the kind of base of it. Then we'll have some stone bricks around the outside as like the defining lines. Then every single corner block, again, like you might recognize this little bit, we're going to use andesite because I really love the way that andesite and stone bricks combine. Like seriously, look at this. Well, you can't really see it that great from here, but I think they combine in a great way. And yeah, while we do this building, which I think you can understand what's going on here, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess, some changes on the channel, because again, one of the big things I talk about every week is what's been going on in the life of Toycat, and this past week has honestly been a really chill week. I've kind of decided to take a tiny little break from traveling and focus on the channel for a very little bit, because again, we've got like Switch coming out, we've got Quad coming out. There's lots of big stuff that I really want to be able to put a lot of attention into, because I think they'll be cool and I think they'll be worth checking out, and also because I just feel like it's been a while, and some people might be like, is this like the side thing you do, or what's the deal there? And yeah, given that it's it's just something that I really felt passionately that I wanted to put more time in. So yeah, we're going to be spending a little bit more time on YouTube for the next like month and a half, and as part of that, one of the things I figured I'd review is like kind of how things are going, because as you probably are aware, a lot of particularly like Minecraft YouTubers, but pretty much at any given time, a lot of YouTubers are going to be in like this downward phase, and I think the truth behind a lot of it, because I do a lot of testing with my titles, my release times, so I do a lot of like just testing to get information because I find that to be interesting personally, and one of the things that I've come to the conclusion of that I feel like, again, I want to be honest with you, this whole series is just about like telling you the real truth behind stuff, even if it's like tricky, and because the Let's Play audience is like the core audience that are probably a little bit cooler than the rest of the people that watch the channel. Some people just watch the channel because they feel like it's 10 seconds of entertainment, whereas I feel like people here probably care a little bit more about what's actually going on, and that's why I want to just be entirely honest here, that one of the things that's realistically going to change in the nearest future is there's going to be a lot more what you might call a clickbait title or something, because I've come to the conclusion that that is the one differentiator on YouTube between a video that does well and one that doesn't, because obviously like you can't have a terrible video because otherwise people click it, and but even then, even if it's the worst video in the world, sometimes some of those have amazing views just because of the sort of thing like that. And rather than trying to like play a fair game that no one else is playing, basically I'm going to be diving into the world of like trying out some new titles. Again, never like clickbait to the degree that you'll see like Fortnite YouTubers do, but it's just a little bit more than we are right now. The Let's Play is going to be always the exceptions that I feel like, where it's just like, this is Minecraft Xbox Let's Play number 360, I actually don't know the episode, like 358, I want to say, something in that ballpark, and basically, like that's always where this will be, and that's always where it will do worse. But yeah, one of the things I want to be doing is I want to kind of focus on stuff like, so for instance, I made a video on a really amazing Minecraft console seed, but it was really hard to sell the seed, so I was like, oh, here's a volcano, and the thumbnail was a volcano, and everyone loved that video. There was a small minority of people who disliked, like something like 6%, like about average, but a lot of people loved the scene. They're like, thank you so much for showing me, and it's like, people wouldn't have seen the video otherwise, and given that, part of me goes, that's not so great. I make videos myself, and therefore, I always want to include a way for you, if you really hate the idea of that, like, oh, I hate the idea that, like, a thumbnail might not be correct, I always want to provide a way that, like, you can avoid that if you want to. So yeah, if you like the new thumbnail system, then awesome, you can keep on seeing them and you will see them. But if you don't like the new thumbnail system, which we'll be kind of playing around with the next week, I always want to have that kind of backup option of, like, guess what, if you really want to, you can check Twitter, where I'll just have, like, as close to, like, an honest title or whatever, like boring title, as you want to see, so that way you can kind of pick which way you consume stuff. If you want to see it with the title everyone else sees it, you see it on YouTube. But if you really don't want to see it, but you still want to keep up to date with Tweetcat videos, then you got your Twitter for that. And I think Google Plus too, but like, who's recommending Google Plus in a serious way in 2018? And yeah, but if you want Google Plus, it also do the same thing. Again, I literally think that's one guy out there that's like, yes, Google Plus, that's my favorite social network because it does circles, which actually, mild note here, but Google Plus was one of my favorite things, and yeah, if you're a Google Plus user, you'll be happy, and if you use Twitter, again, you don't have to deal with the rest of the stuff, but it is something I realized that, like, as a YouTuber, you always want to be like, oh yeah, the message is pure and stuff, but if the message can't even be shown to people on their homepages, because, the homepages are based on click-through rates, then it's something where I figure, like, let's just make that tiny bit of a dive, and that's something you'll see over the next couple of weeks and stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun, because we can make some, hopefully better videos to, make it all worthwhile for that sort of stuff. So yeah, looking forward to the next few weeks, because I'm going, like, hard on Minecraft. I'm going to Dublin for a couple of days, but besides that, until like the end of June, I want to, like, really have this huge stretch of, like, doing a lot of cool YouTube stuff, which means more streams, more stuff like that, and I'm really pumped. So I know this seems like, what have I been doing this week? Sounds like a lot of YouTube, but it's been a lot of YouTube thinking, reflecting, stuff like that, and I don't know, for me personally, it's been a lot of fun, because I like YouTube a lot. That's why I do it instead of literally anything else in the world, as I guess anyone can do anything, right? And I choose to YouTube because I really love being like trying to inform people about anything. Like when it comes to every issue, a lot of people are all about something else, but I feel like getting the information out there about anything is something I care about, and that's a thing. And honestly, I was trying to think about this because I'm trying to tell you right here, because as a YouTube viewer, I appreciate it when a channel is honest with me about what's actually going on, because I could say that, like, oh yeah, well really what this is this is just me making like every single one of them is going to be perfectly accurate. And I always want to have, again, the thumbnails be related to the video. A lot of people, especially in the Fortnite world, they just make up something that would be an appealing title, and the video is not related, and they just hope that you'll stick around for it. Whereas, obviously, one of the things I want to do is it's always going to be related, even if it's like, oh yeah, well that wasn't a perfect screen grab, but like what is these days? That's always the kind of standard I want to hold it to, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy the future, because yeah, one of the things that I do as a YouTuber that a lot of people don't is I make videos that I personally would want to watch. I know, especially again in the Minecraft and Fortnite worlds, that's something that people don't really think about anymore, because they're trying to, there's a younger audience in like super young kids or whatever they can attract instead, and like just make garbage and just hope that someone clicks it. But to me, I've always wanted to make videos that I personally would find enjoyable, that I would personally get something out of, and I've actually thought about that as like kind of being a selfish thing, right? Like again, although it sounds like kind of good on the surface, like, oh yeah, I make videos that even I would enjoy, but in a way that's kind of selfish. Like, oh yeah, well I mean that just means that you put more effort in because you want people like you to enjoy them. It's kind of like it reminds me of a story. So I've said this before, but I was in a kind of special business class, and when I say special, it sounds kind of dodgy, but basically I did a really rare, I think there was like 3 of them across the UK, business class when I was like 14 to 15. It was 2 years, and it took up like 2 slots in my schedule, or like basically it was a whole day of my week, every single Thursday if I'm not mistaken, was just taken up by like, we go into this business room, or like into a classroom, and then that is the room where we study business all day every day. And one of the parts of that class is like we had a lot of conversations about kind of business-esque stuff, so like, oh, something pensions deficit, or like kind of garbage stuff like that. But also in that kind of vein, one of the people came in and they spoke about like like I remember like there was a conversation about like, oh yeah, imagine being married to someone who like wasn't attractive or something, and a lot of the girls would be like, oh no, could never do that, because I think there was only 3 in the class or something, could never do that. And then the teacher would be like, that's a little bit shallow, and one of the girls was like, oh yeah, well I wouldn't mind about a guy's attractiveness as long as he's rich. And it's like, when you think about it, that's a different type of shallow. Maybe it's worse, worse, maybe it's better, but it's also it's also something that makes you question, like, is it better just because it's a different type of shallow, or is shallow still shallow regardless? And I don't know if I know the answer to that question, but it is something funny that I think about every time, I think about the whole, like, oh yeah, so I try to make videos that, I could enjoy, and that I'd hope that someone like me could enjoy. But, it kind of comes across as like, that's actually a very shallow thing to think for, because it's just, just because it's not the same shallow as someone who makes a video because they, really want, like, let's make up a thing, like, they really want people who, they really want to be famous for something, or whatever the, reason you think is not noble is. In a way, it's almost less, noble or less, whatever, to make videos for yourself, because that's selfish in its own little way. And I often think, actually, a lot of the ways you can make really great stuff happen is not by encouraging people to do less selfish things. Oh gosh, what happened there? I think, like, if you want to be successful with something, kind of weird and out there, it's not by, like, encouraging people to do less selfish things. It's to make people do selfish things that just happen, to come across as not selfish. That's my personal take on the world. Maybe my opinion is wrong, but it's something I've always thought about because of that, as to, like, the person who says, like, oh yeah, well, I would never marry someone, based on their looks. That'd be wrong, but their money, that's kind of a fine thing. It's really just, like, changing the standard, having it be something else. And on the YouTube front, it's like, yeah, I'm still doing something that is, self-serving in a way. It's just that, because it's something that also benefits other people. I know, I guess that's a lot of, like, how humans work as a whole, right? And speaking of humans, one of the things I realized this week, because I dig a lot into, like, I guess the history of human interaction. And that seems like a really, really ridiculous thing to say. And, it probably is, right? So just, you can figure that if it's ridiculous. It's fine. Also, I think we've made a fairly large space here. It's 25 by 25, so pretty big enough. But yeah, basically, the way humans interact always blows my mind, because I'm terrified of driving in, let's just say, like, in a confined space with lots of people. I think most people get this fear too, where, like, again, I don't actually drive, but, like, being in, like, a big city where, like, there's so many cars around you, that's scary, because you might hit one of them. And that's why I've always looked at cities, let's just say, like, any city where you get around by motorbike, and you're like, oh my god, there is this huge conflict between traffic and this. People must die all the time. And people do die on a fairly frequent basis, like, one in every, like, 50,000 drivers dies a year or something. It's like a concerningly high figure, but, like, even, it's not actually too high when you consider how many opportunities you feel like, so you might kill someone or you might die in a thing. And it just made me realize that, like, people are really good at not bumping into each other at speed. I don't know how that's possible, but it happens with, like, skiing. When you're going down a hill, somehow everyone just doesn't bump into each other. I've never bumped into someone on a real skiing slope beyond, like, clipping them the tiniest bit, or, like, their ski hits me or my ski hits them. Like, it's never been like my ski pole hits them. It's never been, like, a big thing. There is somehow, also, I think we want to have the walls be this way, so we'll kind of have the, we'll kind of just build up from here, I guess. So place a block here. Oh wait, we need to get rid of one of these, because I want to have some walls for this thing, because we can always make it bigger towards the shore, but I want to have this be kind of the corner. Or maybe that should be the corner, and then I could work this way. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So even though I've, but we can still keep that there. So, yeah, back to what I was saying, though. One of the things I find crazy is that people can just have this system where everything just about... Oh, I need to... Okay, so grab this as well. The systems that, like, keep people from doing stuff, it's really impressive. Like, somehow at speed... Maybe it's because we're, like, extra cautious because we're all scared of that, but somehow, like, people just never hit something. There's, like, this amazing, kind of fluidity where even though there should be a lot of terrible stuff going down, and maybe it does happen every now and then, because everyone's so scared of it happening, it never seems to, at least. That's my take on it, at least. Maybe there's some horrific skiing accidents, or maybe, I just got lucky when I was on Uber in Jakarta or in Santo Domingo or whatever. I didn't end up... on the back of something. But it's something interesting I thought about, and maybe you realize that too, maybe you don't, I'm not even sure. So I think I've messed this up, actually. Yeah, I have, actually. So we have to replace these blocks, push them one back further, but that's all fine. But yeah, so the history of human interaction, the reason I come up with that is because one of the things, like, the way you like, if you live in, like, a suburb or something, then it's really easy for you to interact with everyone. Everyone is your friend. But that's like a really... Also, look at my map. I just realized I had one, so I'm going to put that in my offhand, because it's been a while since I've had a map. I think I deserve one. But it's basically... when you think about how easy it is to just talk to someone if you live in a really rural area, versus how much you don't want to talk to someone, and how if you live in a city, it's just accepted that like, yeah, you don't talk to other people. That's that's a weird thing. Please don't do that. And yeah, so it's kind of just accepted if you're on like the subway system or wherever you live, don't talk to other human beings. And I find that interesting that like, yeah, we have these rules and it kind of works, and if you disobey them, then you're kind of the weird one and crazy. Because when you think about where they evolved from, it goes pretty far. Like, so one of the things I find interesting is that the gesture of the handshake. So the idea of shaking someone's hand, the reason that exists is because way back, like in historic times for humans, I guess, because there was always a chance that any other person you met would be hostile. The reason you shake hands to be friends is to show like if you're holding a weapon, you have to hold it with your hands. I think there's no effective weapon that works with your feet besides like kicking someone. But if you have like a real like sharp weapon that can insta kill someone, like a sword for instance, you can't hold it while you've got your hand held out. And if you have both hands open or whatever, it's shown like, look, neither of us have weapons. We're here to talk, not to kill each other. And again, to me, that's like interesting because like so much of that kind of thing kind of holds out into modern culture. Like, all these gestures that we do, like, hugging, that's a symbolic gesture of like liking someone. All these gestures come from something where it's like, we need to show that we're not gonna kill someone, because that's a real thing. Like, even today, people don't like cities, at least people who don't live in cities don't like cities because they're scared at any point they'll be killed, right? Like, they don't, there's so many people they have to interact with, and there's like no kind of predefined system of like, oh yeah, here's my proof I won't kill you, because there's so many easy ways that someone can, especially like in America, right, where like, that crazy homeless person you missed, he might have a gun. You don't know how his life goes, you don't know what his plans are. And I think that's just an interesting reflection on society. Maybe we're out of granite blocks, so I need to go get some more. But before we do, I want to at least have these walls go up a little bit, just so you can kind of see like how this will look. So we go 3 blocks up, and then we'd even place like these and then go across to them too. I'll do that too as well, actually, just because I think it'll look nice, and it's also a little bit easy. So let's do that. But yeah, basically, I think a lot of people are scared of random strangers because we don't have like a gesture of like a universal gesture of like, I'm a cool guy. And I think we need that on the internet too, right? Like, a lot of people are crazy, what I like to call bears in YouTube streams, where it's just like, they were raised in the woods by a bear, or they're trolling, or maybe, these days I guess it could be they're super young or something. But like, there are some people who just don't understand social norms on the internet. And I feel like we need a way of like differentiating when like you're there to have a reasonable conversation versus you're there because you want to yell and like you're bored because you're on the toilet or something. I don't know what the situation with everyone on the internet is, but it seems to be different for... Okay, can we take damage here? Yes, we will. Also, why do we take damage from that for the... Like, I could be wrong, but I think that's 3 blocks, right? I think I've just discovered a Minecraft glitch on the stream. I know what I'm talking about. It's probably more important than this, but like, if I jump from here, I'll take no damage because it's 3 blocks. And if I jump from there, which I can't do without making a equally high stack right here. Okay, this is tricky. Oh, so okay, it's because I'm jumping 4 blocks. No, wait, actually I'm falling from there down to there, which is 1, 2, 3. It's 4 blocks. Okay, but because I have armor, it goes down to 0. Well, now we know. Look at me, just solve the mystery. Because it's really weird when you take damage for 0. It's not a normal state of being, in my opinion. But yeah, I think we need more ways on the internet to signify, like, look, I'm here because I want to have a real conversation. With this little elytra, I should not be flying this high. I'm here because I want to have a nice, normal conversation with you or whatever. Or like if you're having a real debate about something, like I might leave with my my mind changed. I don't know what those signals could be, and I'm not going to be able to invent them because I'm not like the magic social person who can come in and save all the problems. But it is something I think like the internet needs, and that's why, fun fact. So on YouTube, right now, do you know how everyone your username has to show as your full name, right? So for instance, even my second channel shows my full name. Like Andrew Andrews. My third channel, sorry, the Let's Play channel, IVX2K Let's Plays, it shows up as, Andrew Andrews in search results and on the channel. I can't change that for a while. And the idea behind YouTube doing that, they did it like 5 years ago with Google Plus, actually, fun fact. This sounds like a weird ad for Google Plus, but please don't use Google Plus. I haven't used Google Plus in so many years. I honestly don't know if it still probably exists, or if it's like, changed into something else by now. But basically, the idea behind YouTube switching everyone to using their full names was to be like, if people use their real names, then there'll be better people on the internet. Because YouTube comments are known for being some of the worst. Like, again, most YouTube comments, you know, with the exception of like the Let's Plays, where I've said this before, but like, I think the people who watch Let's Plays are like the cooler side of the audience, the chiller side or something. But with you know, with very few exceptions, YouTube comments are known for being terrible. And one of the ways you could fix that, or that YouTube thought you could fix that, is like, so what if we made it so that instead of you know, using some username like, you know, PussySlayer64 or whatever, you could instead be, you know, something as simple as just like, oh yeah, my name is Tobin Bell. I think that's a famous actor. My name is Andrew Jackson, or whatever particular name you want to come up with. Andrew Andrews, as my third channel now shows. And it's a little bit annoying that, like, on the internet, now you're, like, prone to being doxxed at any time, right? Because, again, if someone knows your full name like that, then there's... and they really hate you, they can get something. But I think that's kind of like the threat there. Like, you're not... That's why, for instance, you know, cars have license plates on them. We have these huge death machines that we just drive around, like, literally, I don't know how many, like, tons of car weighs, but it's tons of metal that you drive around at speeds that will kill people. Like, if you hit a person, you'll kill them, and it's very tricky to avoid that. So you have, like, little like these numbers attached to them that registers it to you, your house, and everything you know. So it's like, guess what? If you kill someone with a car, it might look easy, but it's very, very easy to trace it back to you. Having that sort of system in place, it's kind of uncomfortable, and it kind of goes against what you'd figure is human nature, but it also seems to work, you know? Like, having, like, kind of a threat-based system in society, and I don't like that it works. I wish that people were different, but it's just the same kind of thing where, like, you know, we used to shake hands as a way to show we're not holding weapons. Now we share full names as a way to show, like, look, I mean, if one of us wants to, we can call the, you know, the SWAT police, or not the SWAT police, in America at least. You can literally send people with guns and flashbangs and, like, you know, military police around someone's house, and it's really easy, and the police has to do it if you... Something went wrong here. Oh, okay. It's really, really easy to get, like, military police sent around in America. I think over here they just send a guy with, like, a billy club or something, but in America it's like, you know, they'll send a SWAT team with, like, you know, full-on military-grade submachine guns or something. Because, you know, why take that risk or something? I know, the reason I bring all that up is just like, you know, humans are interesting in the way we evolve, like, kind of trust measures, but it seems to just about work. I think, again, I don't like this as an idea. Let me clarify, I'm not suggesting this. Please, if you are listening to this, and you ever have any power in your life, never do this. But one way that would keep all humans safe is if you had literally a, you know, kind of like everyone has a car tag, you had a barcode on you, you know, somewhere, or like, you know, you had everyone had tattooed into their forehead, or like, you know, an NFC tag on them, which you could, like, you know, look up on your phone and be like, oh yeah, this person was born there and they do this. Because if you see someone and they're like, oh yeah, this guy is a programmer from, you know, Washington or whatever, okay, that's fine. And you're like, oh, this guy, he committed, you know, 16 crimes in the past 3 years and was only let out because the prisons were too full in, you know, this state or this jurisdiction. And it's like, you know, actually, that guy, I think I will be scared of. And, again, really don't think that's a good idea. But it is the same kind of basic principle of, like, you know, why don't we all just... Also, like, do you like my warehouse? I think I need to have a door somewhere. I think the door should be over here, I guess. But yeah, so this can be used for a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to put, like, some real pallets or whatever in here. Somewhere to store, like, blocks of, like, valuable resources. Or maybe just store stuff, like, for testing. But yeah, for now, we have a very easy place to test. Because as you can see, because I know there's 5 loops of this pattern. So here... Oh, actually, no, it's 4 blocks every loop because... Oh, that's a mistake. So we know it's 5 blocks in the first pattern and then 4... Oh, no, 4 blocks every loop of the pattern. So it's 4, and then it's 8, and then it's 12, 20... No, it's 16, 20, 24. It's 28 blocks long. We can now say definitively, or 29, I think, of this. And that way we can do testing over 30 blocks, or 29 blocks, or 30, whatever. We can do easy testing, and it's easy to work out how many blocks without counting every individual one, because we can count the times the pattern shows up. So if you use the pattern as a wider context, we can be like, oh, every 2 times is 8, so 8, 16, 24. It's as easy as that. And yeah, I know. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. And I want to give you the heads up that, like, again, even though it seems weird and even though there's some downsides to it, the new way of titling videos on YouTube just seems to be more effective. And rather than trying to lie to you about that or just telling you to leave if you don't like it or whatever, I've given you the alternative, and I'd recommend you follow me at IBXToyCat on Twitter if you want to see video titles there. because that might be your thing. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you got something from it, because I'll see you all... Actually, let's see it from the background. Let's just see what it looks like from over here. I hope you all enjoyed the video, because I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.